When the Buffalo Sabres signed Taylor Hall in the offseason, there was a lot of hope. You know, after all, Hall had said wherever he ended up, he wanted to be on a winning team, which is super weird that he chose the Sabres then as the destination because they haven't made the playoffs in like 9 years. And they were hoping that with his signing, it wouldn't be 10.
We signed this guy. We're not only trying to make the playoffs,
we're
trying to win the cup.
It's going to be 10.
The plan was to start this with a little sympathy, and I feel like this is
That is
not
not true.
that.
That being said, we have respect for you Sabres fans. I promise there's more to this. The Sabres, they're currently last place in the East, which, again, forgivably, it's probably the toughest division in the league.
Easily. I don't even think it's a contest at this point. Like, I think the other three divisions are meh, and then this one's hard.
That being said, end result, still going to be no playoffs potentially, and now all of the Sabres fan base's emotional energy seems to be more involved with trying to free up their $9 million fourth line winger, which kind of brought up the question that we have here as the title of the video. Are the Buffalo Sabres the worst franchise in the NHL? And I promise that hurt to say, because like Sabres fans, like you're honestly, you're great. Like you're really dedicated, but there's a lot of pain associated with your fandom and we're about to get into it.
We're hoping this can be like a therapeutic thing. We're not trying to dump on you even more.
The title says otherwise.
We're just trying to talk through it. We want them to get better. You don't get better without realizing how bad you are. So like with that said, I think we can kind of start at least the current Buffalo Sabres because there's sadness in their history and stuff like that. But like the current Buffalo Sabres, I think Z, you just mentioned their $9 million fourth winger. I mean, at this point, he's lucky if he's a fourth line winger. He's a healthy scratch sometimes now. Jack Eichel, Taylor Hall, and Jeff Skinner are being paid a combined like $27 million and have 3 goals combined. That's so bad.
Not good.
I will say, we did our predictions video and like I picked the Sabres to make the playoffs. I'll throw out a hot take here. Like I think Buffalo's making the playoffs.
I wasn't in that video and I'm glad I wasn't because I probably would have agreed with you.
Their team looks like, if you look at this roster, you're like, that's pretty decent. They've played less games than everyone, so it seems maybe a little worse than it is, but not much. Like by points percentage, they're like in the bottom, 6 or 7 in the league, whereas by points, they're bottom 2 in the league. It's a grim look at the team in general. I think their goal differential is like almost negative double digits. It's come to the point where legitimately, like on their subreddit, they're starting to consider like, should we trade Jack Eichel? Like, what kind of package could we get in return?
That happens every year, by the way. Like
I know, but
lots
like
of trading him, which does suck.
It's crazy. He's so good. Probably be 50 years of an existence without a Stanley Cup. 10 years since they've been in the playoffs. 13 since they've won a playoff series. The current state of the franchise is bad.
The current day, as you said, hurts, but why I guess we're having this conversation of most tortured has a lot to do with the past. They came in the league 1970, as you'd mentioned, have not won a cup, and they were in one of the most memorable Stanley Cup finals of all time. Not for a great reason. Foot in the crease.
That goal should not have counted under the rule.
Losing sucks. Losing that way sucks even more.
I just don't know how you reconcile that.
You make license plates.
2 words, no goal.
And I mean, like, it's not just performance stuff. Like, the history of their transactions and signings, like whether it's trading Ryan O'Reilly and then he goes and wins a cup and is the Conn Smythe, or it's the Ville Lano deal, or the Matt Molson deal, or just the way they let Danny Briere and Chris Drury go, the way they let Dominic Hasek leave their franchise.
Ryan Miller, too.
Nobody has a happy ending in Buffalo, which is, it's just getting worse and worse.
It's expectations being pretty high that hurts because that means that your hopes are just as high. And, like, they have an owner in Pagula who, like, he spends.
He came in and his famous words that I feel like I see in every article about how the Sabres are bad. He came in and he says,
starting today, the Buffalo Sabres' reason for existence will be to win a Stanley Cup.
I mean, I would have hoped that that was their reason for existing before then, like all the teams should. But yeah, that is the easiest quote to go back to, especially when you haven't made the playoffs 9 years in a row. Things have just like turned around so quick. I used to always think them as like a really competitive team. As a Leafs fan, like I didn't like them. They spoiled a lot of my dreams. Now, to speak to like the jarring shift in tone, leave it up to the infamous Sabres radio call.
I have so many great moments to talk about with this hockey team, and like I just I'm surprised the organization remembered to wish Dominic Hasek a happy birthday today.
Yeah, like, dude's pretty right. Imagine being that emotionally invested in something that never pays off.
I'm not going to sit here and yell and scream about it because I think I've done enough of that already.
Again, really rich coming from a Leafs fan. With that being said, there are other things, because you can be bad on the ice. Like, that's one thing. If your team sucks, it's disappointing. But if you start slipping off the ice, woo, that's when fans are going to get real pissed. The 50th anniversary that the Sabres celebrated, just a season ago, really kind of highlights what it's like to be a Sabres fan right now. The Athletic, they had an awesome article on it. They kind of just dug into a number of the blunders that the organization had. Real quick, let's just go through a couple of them. They spelled two of their legends' names incorrectly on the jerseys, including Dave Andrechuk, which, come on, like, tough name. I get that. Gotta get that right. For the 90s night that they held, no representation from the red and black Buffalo jerseys, which was like half of the 90s for them. And I get it. Probably hard to acquire those now. They're not cheap anymore, and if you haven't made that jersey for a long time, it's not like you just have them sitting around. Still, you're the Sabres.
They missed a deadline for them to wear this jersey. I'm sorry, that's sad.
Go get one.
Go get one. The Ducks figured it out pretty well when they went and did the same thing.
That's so sad. Like, the one thing we've been asking for, and how do you mess that up?
Their alumni were going around for charity events and representing the team in knockoff jerseys. Well, they gotta wear the jerseys they were associated with, so why don't we just order these online?
These ones are way cheaper.
I like this price. That's what you're wearing to this turkey drive.
Which is funny, because we were just saying one of the positives they have is that they're not shy about spending money. So where did that come from?
That was not the time to save a buck. But my absolute favorite anecdote from the article has to come from their kids' night that they held, where one of the kids, just to get the experience to stand by the Sabres locker room before one of the games, had to beat Kyle Okposo in a game of Name Disney Princesses. Well, the kid lost. And you know what they did? They're like, well, tough luck. Hope you enjoyed Kids Day.
Out of here. Well, you know what it is? That's the Sabres trying to instill a winning culture, And then we should also bring up that this season, fans on social media, like the one where the guy bought a cardboard cutout for his aunt that had passed away.
Yeah.
He was like, I don't want her to have to watch this.
Just send it back.
Part of kind of deciding what team is kind of the worst franchise is projecting forward too, right? I think you can look at teams like the Vancouver Canucks, who have had an extreme history of sadness. Obviously, you can look at the Leafs too, but currently they look really good. So people are obviously more optimistic. Fans feel much better about the direction of the team and the management. Vancouver, I know, not the management side, but they do have a good young core that, like, I'm sure many Vancouver fans feel they're kind of just some tinkering away from actually being a competitive team.
There are two trophies that fans seem to want. There's the Stanley Cup, but if you don't get the Stanley Cup, even if they won't admit it, some people, what they want is, no, my team suffers more than yours. It's like a second place thing. There's a weird point of pride with it, and I know Oilers and Canucks fans, or people who hate those franchises, they might be saying they suffer way more. I'm not hearing it, because like 3 out of the last 5 Hart Trophy winners, they're on the Oilers. They've had something to really cheer for and something to really be excited for. And as for Canucks fans, same thing. Like, like the Sedin twins, pretty dope. Again, another Hart Trophy win and an exciting core, as you had mentioned. So listen, the Pain Olympics, no one wants to medal in them, but if we're given the gold, I feel like it belongs around the Sabres' neck. We do have a resident Sabres fan in our office, Hannah Carver. Is she even excited about what's to come? This isn't a radio call-in show, but it's about to turn into one. Hannah, what do you think?
As a long-suffering Sabres fan, turning a game off in frustration is now part of my nightly routine. It's really hard to be optimistic these days, but as for the city of Buffalo, I guess we're just glad to have the Bills.
She did not have a jarring shift in tone like our boy.
What is going on? Like, what are we doing?
One, I wish she did, but also that was almost more depressing because, like, I've never actually heard it said out loud that someone said, like, at least we have the Bills.
We were supposed to be nice here, man. Like, they got a dope team right now.
They got a good team, but that's like another perennial loser. That's just like, they're known for their sadness.
That's the end of the shoot-off. All right, there's a lot of people out there who, they do a lot of tweeting, but maybe they don't do a lot of thinking. Corwin, that's you. Me too, actually. Which brings us to, don't think, just tweet. Just a little bit of rapid fire, some stuff that we want to talk about still. All right, number one. Was the NHL outdoor game a bust, and should they keep doing them? 240 characters or less. Top of your head, what's your thought?
I thought Lake Tahoe was great, and there should never be fans at outdoor games again.
What? That's not what my tweet would be. Mine would be more suggestions of other places. Because, no, it's awesome. It's fun to watch them outdoors. Just watch out for those sunspots.
Have you been to an outdoor game? Because it's misery.
They're not as fun.
You're so far, you can barely see the ice. And then on top of that, because there's so many fans in the way, they have to have the cameras so far, so the angle on the ice is terrible. This one, they could put everything wherever they wanted, so they had great angles of all the ice. You could watch the game like a normal game. It didn't feel like you were watching a lower quality broadcast because of where they were playing.
Yeah, I think they're great for marketing. There's no real downside to it other than the games, again, not being that great. But you know what? Sacrifice those games in favor of a couple storylines, a couple fun moments for one of those games and have people enjoy it. And do one in Times Square.
We were listening Barbie Girl before you guys asked me to the media, so I was kind of dancing with these glasses out in the locker room, and then you guys ruined it, and I had to go answer the question, so I missed the Barbie Girl song, and you know, who knows what's gonna be on when I come back.
Z, I've got one for you. I was obsessed with this guy at the World Juniors, so it's Trevor Zegras time.
Zegras never followed Corwin back, ... but he's still a fan for good reason. Because he's awesome. Aside from just, you know, doing super well at the World Juniors, he just showed that, like, pretty good personality to him, too.
Well, like I said, I honestly don't think they've been tested with a real team yet.
NHL needs more characters. I'm psyched.
I genuinely feel like he is like the embodiment of USA hockey.
I mean, you could tell that they haven't seen that kind of ground game from any other team in the tournament.
Just a mullet with stars.
Yeah,
shaved in the side of your head.
Yeah, he's just got gross hands. He'll be so fun to watch. I hope he's amazing.
Next one. Just one word. Panarin.
If I had to make like a tweet out of this, I think basically what it is just going directly to my drafts. It's just a scary situation that I don't think anybody would want to be involved in. Obviously, I think Panarin pretty brave and kind of just sharing his opinion on what he thought about Vladimir Putin. And now it seems like there's a situation there that obviously I don't really know the details to. The New York Rangers came out and kind of like vehemently backed him and denied the allegations. You hope it all works out for the best for Panarin, and obviously you hope that none of the stories that came out are true. So
yeah, exactly. Just to echo what you're saying. You hope that everything that came out involving Panarin isn't true there, and you know, hopefully it's a good sign that they just came out and full backed him, and whatever's happening there, hopefully it's sorted out.
Okay. Z, I know we've talked about this, but should the NHL divisions get treated like NCAA conferences in terms of like difficulty levels?
It's pretty much exactly like NCAA conferences. The North Division is the SEC. Come at us. Just kidding.
I don't know college sports references. Is the SEC good or bad?
The SEC is a powerhouse. The North Division is not. I'm absolutely kidding. The East is the powerhouse. And yeah, 100% we should treat it like that, where it's like, okay, cool. You know, you can't pick the division you're in. You can't pick the opponents that you're playing, but come playoff time, we're going to see who's real. All right, next one. Mic'd up moments. There were a ton of really good ones at the outdoor game.
Okay, so my hot take on this is not a hot take. I think everybody would agree to this ever. I'm just assuming it's probably hard logistically. But every single NHL player should be mic'd up in every single game is my theory. Because it's
whoever's censoring that, like, here it is. I'm praying for your free time.
What did I say about your swearing?
So there's the Kevin Hayes one.
Why is it naked, N-A-K-E-D? But it's not baked, B-A-K-E-D.
And then there was the one where the ref like basically asks him who did something.
Who was it? I'm not a snitch.
He ain't no snitch.
And then there's the Bobby Ryan one where he almost got hit with a puck and then is like, no, that's gonna be a meme for sure.
There's gonna be a meme for sure. Easy meme for that one. Red Wings fans looking at this tweet. Yeah, that's pretty much all the topics that we want to talk about this week. But why don't you go ahead and hit like if you want us to do more videos like this. I don't know. It's fun just to talk about whatever topics are going on during the week. And why don't you make some suggestions? Maybe there's some things you want us to talk about that we didn't get to.
Yeah, we're trying this one out because we could probably make more of these because they're easier to turn around than some of our other videos. So if you want to see more,
a little bit quicker.
Yeah, if you want to see more, we'll have some more consistent stuff out and maybe talk about more topical things in the NHL at that time, then yeah, let us know.
You guys have a pretty massive say in what we make, by the way. Just saying, keep that in mind. Your comments, they get read.